Hey guys, so this week's video is my pen collection. Let's get right into it. So the first category that I'll mention are fine liners, and the ones I have are the Stabilos, a few Staedtler ones, and the fake Pigma microns that I got off of Aliexpress. And the Stabilos come in 47 different colors. They come in a mini version as well, and you pay around $11 for 30, so that makes them the cheapest out of the bunch. They come in really beautiful colors and they're all very vibrant. The tip is a bit thicker than the Staedtler ones, so they do write a bit more thick and kind of spread out more. And I did also notice that the colors are more vibrant than the Staedtler ones. But in general, I think that if you have one or the other, you definitely don't need both. Since, as you'll be able to tell later when I also swatch the Staedtler ones, the colors are extremely similar, especially the more basic ones like the yellows, the reds, the oranges and the blues. They're just slight variations when it comes to like extremely light or extremely dark colors. But another plus of the Stabilo's ones are that they also match their highlighters. So for example, if you have the neon set of the Stabilos, they're almost an exact color match to their Stabilo Boss neon color range and so on. So here are also the Stellar ones that I was talking about previously, and again extremely comparable to the Stabilo ones. You definitely don't need both. Here I'm just showing you how the tips kind of wear off as the time goes on. They kind of flatten out and write more thicker, which is a downside of fine liner pens in general, but like the colors are really beautiful and they write very consistently, so again I would recommend both. I also have two Staedtler broadliners, which are kind of the thicker version of the fine liners, and I just wanted to test these out because I saw them in the store. I don't really like them because I prefer writing with a thinner pen, but if you do like the triplus fine liners and you are looking for something thicker, I think you'll really enjoy these. They write really smoothly, but they're just not my cup of tea. So next up, I've got these fake Pigma microns, and I've got them off of Aliexpress. I've talked about them a bunch in previous videos, but my opinion has kind of shifted. I don't really like them that much because like in a very short period of time the tips have flattened out a bunch. I just don't really like them. I think it's worth it to invest in more expensive, more higher quality pens, for example the Staedtler Stabilos or even the original microns. They just don't last, as you can see here, and two came dried up, so I'll definitely won't be repurchasing these. I'm just kind of disappointed, but I'll use them up, and yeah, then I'll probably purchase the original versions. Like they're okay, but I just wouldn't recommend them even though they are cheaper. You can't really tell on camera, but they all ghost, none of them bleed though, which is great. Again, the Stabilo and the Staedtlers, just get which one you prefer. If you prefer more vibrant colors, I would go with the Stabilo ones, but in general, again, both are great, just choose one. Next category are highlighters, and these are my favorite type of pens. I just love all the pastel colors that I own. As you can see, I don't really own neons except for the Stabilo ones, which I got in middle school and they still work. If you want really long lasting pens, I think the Stabilo Boss are the ones to go for. They truly do last for a really long time. As I've said, I've had the neon ones since middle school and they're still working, which is amazing, but I just don't really like how bulky they are. Like I can't carry them around in my pencil case, they're just too big, so they just sit on my desk. And they also highlight in quite a thick line, and since my handwriting is really small, I just don't like that. But the thing that I do really like is that you can match them to the .88, so you can get like the perfect highlighter pen match, and so that your notes just look really sleek in my opinion. Like, they're great highlighters, but for me they're just too big and bulky and right kind of thick. But if you like that and you also love all the colors, you'll really love these. Next up are the zebra mildliners, and I love these. These are my favorite highlighters. They come in 25 beautiful colors and I have all of them. It's kind of like those Pokemons, you know, gotta catch them all. And the last spec, I actually don't have like the little packaging they come in because I got them off of Aliexpress and they weren't even that cheap, so just get the original ones and don't take any risks. So as you all probably know, they're dual-ended. One side has the highlighting tip and the other has the bullet tip. And after a while, as you can see, the bullet tip gets kind of worn down and writes a bit thicker, which is normal again, but it's just a bit of a bummer. But I still really love them. The colors are really beautiful and I can't recommend them enough. Like, they're just great. They're really thin. You can fit a bunch of them in your pencil case. They also last for quite a good while, and yeah, they're just great. And the cheaper alternative for the mildliners or the Milkliners, they cost less than $5 for 12, which is great in my opinion. They work really great, or also dual-ended, but I just don't like how the tip, as with the mildliners, this one also gets worn down, but much quicker in my opinion. The ink also runs out really quickly. I hate that about them. Like, you would have to repurchase them every probably 6 months if you use them constantly. But the colors are really beautiful. I swatched and compared them in my Aliexpress haul video. They're really great if you're looking for something cheap, and the colors are really beautiful, as you can see, very comparable to the mildliners. But again, I just prefer the mildliners, but these are also really great. Last but not least are the Pilot Frixion pastel version highlighters. I got these off of Etsy and I paid around $7 to $10, I can't really remember exactly. And what's really neat about them is that they're erasable, and I think it's a really cool function to have in a highlighter, but in general I really don't like these. Like, it's good that they're erasable, but if you write something and highlight it, it turns the ink kind of like a grayish color, like there's a film over it. It's really weird. And if you want to erase the highlighter, it also smears the ink underneath, especially if you use like a Muji pen or something that's in general prone to being very smudgy. At the bottom, I also decided to do a smudge test, and I was really shocked when the mildliners smeared the most, because when I use them for school they don't really do that. And I was also surprised that the Stabilo smeared the least, but on the other hand, the Stabilos do go through the paper the most, and like all the other ones are kind of dyed. Again, I would recommend all three of them depending on what you're looking for or how much you're willing to pay for highlighters. You decide on your own. I just wouldn't recommend the Frixion ones. Next category are brush pens, and even though I can't letter that well, I've got a bunch of different ones. I actually started with the Aliexpress brush pens. They're really great. I can't recommend them enough. If you're a beginner and looking for something really cheap, then these are a great start. The smaller tips are comparable to the Tombow fudenosuke pens, and the large one is comparable to the Tombow brush pen. And I love the smaller sizes because I can write okay with them, but I really struggle well with the large pen and also with the Tombow dual brush pen because of kind of like this tip, and it also frays really quickly. Like, in a month I already destroyed the Tombow dual brush pen, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really try hard, but I just can't write with these larger brush pens. So if you have any tips, please leave them in the comments below. But I love the Tombow fudenosuke, especially the hard tip, which is on the right side of the screen. They're really great for beginners and really easy to write with. It's extremely easy to get thin upstrokes and thick downstrokes. And yeah, I just prefer the hard tip. The soft is tip is okay, but for the beginners I do believe the hard tip is better. I also have some random Monami pens that I got off of Aliexpress, but I did find that they're cheaper on Stationery Pal, so I'll link that website below. If you're looking for a brush pen that writes really thinly, I'd really recommend these. Again, not that hard to write with. I also got this gold brush pen off of Aliexpress, and I find it really hard to write with because the tip is super bendy and not stable at all. It's kind of comparable to the Faber-castell brush pen with the thin and long tip. Again, I find it kind of hard to write with the Faber-castell ones as well. I do prefer something with a harder tip, for example the Aliexpress ones or the Tombow ones or even the Pentel ones, which I'll show you right now. And yeah, in general, as you can see, I prefer the ones with the harder tip and with the smaller tip as well. Here I'm comparing all four, the Aliexpress ones, the fudenosuke ones, and the Pentel sign pen. If you're looking for something cheap and great quality, I'd go for the Aliexpress ones. If you're looking for a softer tip, I'd go for the Pentel ones. If you're looking for something with a really hard tip and really easy to use, I'd go for the Tombow ones, but again, it's all personal preference. So if you can, try finding them in a local craft store and swatching them before you purchase them to see what you like and what you don't like. These are again just my own biased opinions, so if you want you can follow them or not. Again, it's all personal preference. As you can see, pretty much all of them goes through the paper, but I'll just blame that on my shitty bullet journal pages because the paper is really thin in this notebook, and if you're using a bit more of a high quality paper, you'll do just fine. And here I'm just showing you close-ups, and please don't judge them too hard. I try really hard, and hopefully in the future I'll do much better as I practice more and more. Next up are gel pens, and I have a few different brands. So I have the Zebra Sarasa, the Pilot Juice pens, a few random pens off of Aliexpress, and also the Muji one, which I've been using throughout this whole video for naming all of the pens. So the first ones are the Zebra Sarasa pen, and I got them in pastel colors, of course. They're a bit on the milky side, and that's why I don't like them. Like, some colors are easier to write with than the others, like for example the white one is completely useless, like it's not even opaque, it's completely pointless to have in the set. But what's nice is they come with a clip, so you can clip multiple pieces of paper together. I haven't actually used them for that, but I imagine it can be quite useful. I also broke one of the pens, as you can see, this one, and it was my favorite. It also rolled the smoothest, and I'm just a bit upset over that. So because they're more on the milky side and kind of a bit inconsistent, I do prefer the Pilot Juice pens, and I also got them in a smaller tip, the 0.38mm one. They're also more consistent, and I've used the black one, the dark blue one, and the blue one to take notes in school, and I really like them. They just ran out of ink a bit quickly, and for the price I just didn't think they're worth the purchasing. I just used my Aliexpress ones. I lost the blue one, which again, like, I'm just a bit of a perfectionist, and if I lose a pen and the set is not complete, I'm just a bit like but it's fine. Like, I just can't keep a set without losing one or destroying one pen. Like, it's just impossible for me. So I also used to use the Pentel Energel gel pen, and again, great pen, similarly to the juice pens. I just didn't think they're worth repurchasing, since I think like one refill cartridge is close to $1, and because they run out of ink so quickly, I just don't see it being worth it spending that much money on a pen. They are great pens though. So right now I'm using the Aliexpress gel pens, and you can get literally a bunch of different designs. Like, these are just the few that I got, but you can get literally any design in these gel pens, and they all use the same ink, which I'm showing right now. and you pay $1 for 20 of the refills, and they're just really cheap. So for example, one refill can write super smoothly and the other one can just suck. It's like kind of a gamble. And lastly, I just have the Muji gel pens. I decided to buy only 2 because I just wanted to see firstly what the hype is all about, and in my opinion they're not even that great. Like, they're okay, they write quite smoothly, but they also skip sometimes, and when they cost $2, I think you're better off getting the Pentel energels or the Pilot Juice pens. And last but not least are the ballpoint pens. I have a bunch of different ones like the Stabilo, some Faber-castell, and a few off of Aliexpress. I really love writing with ballpoint pens since they're just so easy to write with. You don't have to try hard at all. And some of my favorites are actually the Stabilo ballpoint pens. As you can see, Stabilo is a great brand for stationery items, and their ballpoint pens also don't disappoint. They come in a 0.5mm tip and they're really great. I also have this random ballpoint pen, which I think is the brand Big, but I'm not really sure. You just twist the top and the tip comes out, which I think is just really fun to do in class. You know, you just twist it back and forth and the time kind of just flies by. Not really, but it's just fun to do. And lastly, I also have this Faber-castell ballpoint pen. Again, all of these three are really comparable, and any ballpoint pen will do in my opinion. Like, there's nothing exceptionally special about any of these. Literally any ballpoint pen will do. I also got this really cute one off of Aliexpress, and it's pink and filled with rhinestones. I think it's a really cute design, but I just decided to show you how you need to refill it. It's kind of complicated. Like, you need to twist out the pen, then twist out the refill, put the refill back in, twist it in, put the tip back in its body, and twist the pen to get the tip open. It's also really cheap. I think it was around 50 cents. Again, any ballpoint pen will do. These are just the few that I got, but my favorites are the multicolor ballpoint pens. I have a 10-in-1 and a 6-in-1, and I actually prefer the 6-in-1 since it's easier to hold and the ink is actually a bit smoother. But I also really love the 10-in-1 pen because I just think it's cool. As you can see, I'm a nerd. And what's really surprising is I actually used up the black ink in the 6-in-1 pen, as you can see right here, but I didn't want to leave it blank, so I just used my Faber-castell ballpoint pen. Here just a close-up of all of the gel pens and ballpoint pens, and none of these really bleed through or even goes through. And here just a flip through of all the swatches. I really love how it turned out, especially the fine liner and the highlighter page, because I just love all of the rainbow colors. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next week's video. Bye!